when you look at all the candidates right now, when you look at Hillary, Bernie Sanders, Donald Trump, and Ted Cruz, are there any that you would vote for?
No.
Not Bernie Sanders.
I mean, I hear little things that Bernie Sanders says that seems like he's making sense or whatever, but they're all the same motherfucker. Like, they're all down with the same team. They're giving you what's called the illusion of choice.
I mean, Bernie Sanders marched with Martin Luther King.
So
you don't care about that at all?
No. Martin Luther King ain't my being. Did he march with Malcolm X?
No.
Did he march with Huey P? Did he march with Marcus Garvey?
No.
Those are motherfuckers that if he marched with those type of people, maybe I'd be impressed.
Okay.
Martin, not so much. Only because I know that Martin's, whole movement was funded by white people. He had people like, what was that guy that really was the homosexual guy who was the organizer of a lot of the civil rights movement? His name's on it. Rustin. Baird Rustin or something like that, right?
Who is this?
This was a homosexual guy who basically gave the blueprint for the civil rights movement for Martin Luther King.
Okay, so this is a gay guy during the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Rich?
One of those black intellectuals.
Oh, so he was black?
Of the time. Yes.
Okay, so a black gay guy.
Black intellectual gay guy who hoped to incorporate some of his philosophy into that whole movement too. It was some other shit. He was one of the main organizers of this.
Okay, and he marched with Martin?
All of that, yeah.
Okay.
Pictures and all of that. Look him up, Baird Rustin.
And what happened to him?
I don't know what happened to him. I forget. I mean, he didn't get assassinated or no shit. Like, I think he died later,
Okay.
Of whatever causes, I don't know.
I mean, do you respect Martin Luther King?
Yeah, I respect him.
But not like Malcolm X?
Because I'm, coming up, just Malcolm, his words, his whole style, even the way he carried himself, that just resonated with me more. You understand what I'm saying? I wasn't a real, turn the cheek type of person. So that type of philosophy didn't resonate with me,
You weren't just going to be down and let people beat you up and just sit there and take it.
I was, coming up, I was on, some soldier shit in my mind. Like, I'm running with dudes that's ready to get the revolution popping type of shit in the 80s.
5%?
Yeah, but we was mainly the gods, but it wasn't just because we was 5% thinking like that. We was just on some all around black consciousness type of, you know what I mean?
I mean, at the time, did you think that there was going to be a revolution?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So based on your point of view, you felt things were bad enough that they were about to explode at any moment.
I mean, it seemed like where we were coming from in the 60s, and it seemed like a lot of those ideas started to really take hold in the children of that era. So when you had certain like hip hop, Public Enemy and all that type of shit, and even something like X-Clan and all of that, it was just like, it seemed like this newer generation was more educated, more conscious, and was on the verge of doing some shit. And then gangster rap came.
Once Vlad TV started making money, the first thing I did is start investing in stocks. Some of the companies I invested in was Nike, for example. And since I started in 2011, it's tripled in value. So I go on, in the comment section on Vlad TV or on Twitter, and I tell people about my experience. Like, a share of Nike costs $65. That's half the price of a pair of Jordans. And, in 5 years, it's tripled. And what people respond is like, man, I ain't got time for that. I'm trying to flip my money.
Because again, a lot of black people don't have the luxury of letting their money just sit somewhere for fucking 10 years or whatever the fucking case may be. They might not be alive that long.
Well, but chances are you will be alive that long.
as a black man in America, living, let's say, okay, your average young black man in Chicago, give him $5,000, he's 15 years old, and tell him to invest that or go get some work.
Right.
What do you think's gonna be the more expedient thing for him? And honestly, living in Chicago, what do you think are the odds of this man even getting to the point of seeing any dividends from his little Google stock? Like, you gotta understand, like, I remember being young, feeling like, nah, I'm probably not gonna live past 25. You know, I be out here doing a lot of crazy shit. Like, probably not gonna live that long. Like,
So fuck
when
it.
I got around 21, I was like, yo, I gotta hurry up and have a kid right now. Like, and I'm getting ready to start. That's the time when I just got signed and all that, but you still thinking like that.
So at 21, you didn't think you're going to live past 25?
Yo,
with a record deal.
You're not
and-
sure. Nope.
You're not sure.
You're not sure. You're not sure. And see, the average white kid doesn't live with that type of mentality. You don't have to go outside and think about being white. You don't have to think about that. You don't have to say to yourself, damn, I might be fucking dead by this time. So all of that stock shit, to your mind, that's crazy talk. All of this talk about I'm gonna work on a job for 30 years and get a pension, that's crazy talk. Cause I might not even be here for that shit. Or I might get halfway through the fucking job, do 15 years, get fired and never get my pension. You see, they try to put you in you feel like a sucker when you do certain shit that they tell you is the right thing to do.
But here's the reality, though. Every time I've tried to flip my money, I've always ended up losing it all.
That's because you a white dude, that's not from the streets, that don't know how to,
But
you
it
know
wasn't.
what I mean?
But it wasn't even like. Yeah, some of it was some street shit, but some of it was like some real estate shit and stuff like that. The reality is that you can't really flip your money. It doesn't work that way.
Yes, it does.
Not really. Not really. If it was easy.
Trust me, you can flip your money.
You can flip your money.
You're flipping your money with stocks right now. It's just
No,
a different
no,
flip.
no, it's not a flip.
And a slower
It's-
flip.
But that's what I'm saying. It's not a flip. It's a slow growth. It's a slow
Growth, that's semantics. Growth and flip is the same fucking
flip.
thing.
When I think of flip, it means I want to double this money in a short period of time.
And that's what most people think. Right. But I mean, you can be doing a slow flip. Like, flip just means taking what I have and doubling it, tripling it, quadrupling it, flipping it over to make more.
Right.
Now, your time frame, that's up to you.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the time frame.
The black people that I know and where we coming from is we don't feel the luxury of having this long time frame. That's all I'm saying.
I feel you.
I agree that stocks might be some good shit, but you got to understand why we're not thinking like that. It's not that stocks are not, maybe it is some great shit.
Right.
But then also when you live in paycheck to paycheck and on some shit, and you're like, nigga, I got $5,000 sitting over here, you know, with Nike, them niggas got millions of dollars. I got to pay these bills. Give me my fucking money back.
I'm a fan of Drake. I'm a fan of the idea of Drake. So, no disrespect against Drake.
What do you mean by the idea of Drake? What does that mean?
Meaning that if he has a ghostwriter, he's an idea. He's not meaning that it's a perception created that he's not really writing the lyrics, and it's just like here, let's make this in the factory and put it out.
I'm just on top of my game right now, Vlad, and I'm just getting blessed. I'm booked 4 or 5 times a week, 60, 75K a show, man. I'm winning right now, man, and I'm just steady trying to increase my hustle.